Greetings out there and in Facebook land. Welcome, my beloveds, and welcome to Thought Therapy Tuesday. I am meeting you here on Facebook Live every Tuesday so that we can walk through the process of thought therapy as presented in my new book, Get Over It. I have it right here. Get Over It. Yes, thought therapy for healing the hard stuff. The hard stuff, because I want you to master this process as a powerful tool of self-healing and transformation. So I want to make sure that you understand every single chapter. This is our third week together, and we are looking at chapter 3. Chapter 3 in Get Over It, A Troubled Mind. This is a very important chapter because we are not only looking at how the mind works, but we're also looking at how we inherit some of the hard stuff that keeps us stuck in unpleasant and unproductive situations. Now, just for review, for those of you who've been with me, in chapter 1, we looked at how the mind works and why we are prone to remember the negative things and forget the positive things. Well, in chapter 1, I introduced you to Miss Claudacious Putting It In, okay? Or as we call her, Lordy Miss Claudie. She is your personal mental file clerk, and she creates a file and stores away every single thought and every single experience that you have in life. She stores the good stuff and she stores the not so good stuff based on what you think about the experience. This means that when you think something over and over and over again, that file grows and grows and grows. And whenever you have a similar experience or familiar experience, Miss Claudie, your mental file clerk, will look through your files and she will lump the present experience into the past experience. Or when certain thoughts get triggered because of what you're going through today, that file just keeps attracting more and more energy. That was in chapter 1. Now, in chapter 2, I introduced you to the concept of the 4 A's, the things that you can use when your thoughts break down. Awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance, and action. That is the foundation of the Get Over It thought therapy process. Awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance, and action. This is your foundation. It means that in order for a thought, particularly our unconscious or habitual thought, to be transformed, you must become aware of it. You got to be aware that you're having the thought. Once you have the thought, then you have to acknowledge it. Okay, I am thinking that. Once you acknowledge it, then you have to accept it, no matter how horrible it will be. You know, like sometimes we think really negative thoughts about ourselves and other people, and we want to say, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that. Yeah, but once you become aware and you acknowledge that you are having the thought, then you have to accept it. Then you take action. Remember, every thought creates energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can, however, be transformed, and that's what thought therapy is all about. It's about getting over the thoughts that in those big negative files in your mind by transforming them or changing the unconscious energy in your mind. That's what Get Over It is about. Now, this week, we are in chapter 3, and we're going deep. This week, we're looking at the energy of inherited thoughts. And we do that in a story about Annie and her son, Alan. Annie was a teenage mother who was absolutely traumatized when she realized she was pregnant. She was traumatized by her mother, who was going through a hard time and really put Annie in a difficult situation. So Annie went through her entire pregnancy with guilt and shame and anger. You know, those three, guilt, shame, and anger, really do destroy dreams and destroy so many people's lives. So for those of you who are just joining us, when you take a look at this book, we're up to chapter 3. And if you've read it, I want you to go back because I want to ask you some questions okay? How many of you have ever found yourself stuck in a situation or a circumstance that you just can't seem to get out of for one reason or another. And how many of you have behaviors? I'll say how many of us, okay? How many of us have behaviors or habits or tendencies that create difficulty in our life, whether it's yelling or shutting down or walking away or acting out? We have these tendencies that cause great difficulties for us in our life or in our relationships, and yet we seem powerless over them, like we can't change them. Well, if you read Annie and Alan's story in chapter 3, you'll learn how we inherit thought patterns and emotions as a result of the energy and mental state of the womb. You know, I've said frequently, what did you marinate in? You know, the same way that we inherit our hair texture or our eye color, we can and do inherit certain states of mind based on what our mothers were thinking and feeling throughout the pregnancy. Now, if you don't believe me, just read chapter 3 and you'll see it. I'm not going to tell you the story because I want you to read it, because I introduce a very important concept, and that's the concept of how emotions impact thoughts. How every emotion you have creates another energy in the thoughts that you have. And now, what makes a negative thought so powerful is not just the thought itself, but it's also the emotion. Because thoughts and feelings can be neutral, but when you put energy on it, when you put an emotion on it, well, then you got a whole new energy and a whole new issue going on. You know, and people will say, well, what comes first, the thought or the feeling? Well, that's the chicken and the egg story. You know, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Here's what you want to remember. What you want to remember is that a thought fueled by an emotion becomes a belief, okay? A thought that you have, then you attach an emotion to it, whether it's fear or anger or joy or whatever it is, it then becomes a belief. And beliefs are really what determine our lives. It's right here and Get Over It, right here and Get Over It, page 87. Listen to this. What you think becomes what you believe. What you believe determines how you behave. And how you behave determines your experience. Listen to me. I know this is hard. I know it's hard. But everything in your life, every single experience that you're having right now is a function of a thought, some of which you think and some of which you inherited. Now, that's the good news. Now, here's the bad news. Everything in your life is a function of a thought, some of which you think consciously or unconsciously, and some you inherited. Your patterns of thinking determine how you behave, and those patterns of thinking are etched into the fiber of your being. One, because we think them over and over, whether we're aware of it or not. Others, because we marinated in it in the womb. Listen, I want you to go back, if you haven't read it, read chapter 3 slowly, carefully, mindfully, so that you understand how you develop certain patterns of thought that then become your experience. Some of the things you think are yours and some of them are not. Listen, I got to tell you my okra story. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. All my life I said, I don't like okra. Now, I had never eaten an okra in my life, ever. An okra had never crossed these lips. But my mother always said, okra are nasty. I don't like okra. Don't eat okra. So one day, my neighbor, who used to cook for my children when I went to school, I went to college at night and I had 3 kids. Sometimes she would cook for my kids. So she made me this dish. And I came home, the kids had eaten most of it. It was a little bit left in the dish. So I ate it. Oh my God, it was incredible. I went across the hall and I knocked on her door. I said, Miss Fountain, what is this? She said, okra and butter beans. I said, okra and butter beans? I can't be okra and butter beans because I don't eat okra. She said, well, you ate some tonight. I went through my whole life believing I didn't like okra because that's what my mother said. Some of the things you think, some of the things you believe, some of the things that govern your life, impact your life, you inherited. And we want to know what they are so that when we get ready to do this work, you can eliminate them, all right? So next week, we're going to dive headfirst into the get over process in chapter 4. I'm going to introduce you to the first 2 of the get over tools. I want you to master this process. I want you to use your mind. I want you to stop being codependent on other people, thinking that somebody outside of you can help you, fix you, change you, even me. And that's the work that I do. And I want to help you. I do. I can't help everybody. So I'm giving you these tools. This is a tool. All right. So I want to introduce you to those tools next week. And so that we can begin to clear our minds, all right? So go over chapter 3. Listen to yourself. I want to talk to you about over. I say get over it. Let me tell you what over means. Own means own your thoughts. V means validate your thoughts. Don't think you shouldn't have had it, or don't think it's not yours. If it's in your mind, it's yours. It may be in a file from long ago that you don't remember. So own your thoughts, validate your thoughts, and then examine them. Understand where they came from. I had to realize I had never eaten an okra, but I didn't like okra because my mother said I didn't like okra. Okay, I had to examine that. Then you have to reframe it. Okay, OVER. Own, validate, examine, and then reframe so that we can get rid of some of those incessant behaviors that we hold on to that make our lives so miserable, all right? Chapter 4, we're going to do that next week, all right? I want to talk to you about it for a minute. Over, own, validate, examine, reframe. Now let's look at the it, the IT. All right, what is your it? Do you know what your it is that you need to get over? What about incessant talking? How about that? Some people just tell their story over and over and over and over. And I've been telling you, change the narrative. Change the narrative. Don't keep telling the story if it's being fueled by unconscious thoughts and taking you where you don't want to be. Incessant talking. How about that? How about incomplete tasks? How many of us have incomplete tasks and we can't move to the next one because it's like we're carrying 5,000 pounds of the stuff we started and didn't complete? That's a it. Do you have incomplete tasks? What about incomplete training? Some of us want to do stuff, but we haven't put in the time and the work to get trained. That's a it, incomplete training. What about I thought? What about I tried? What about I'm through? All of those are its, okay? Next week, we're going to start to identify your it, your patterns of thinking, some of which you made up, some of which you inherited. Doesn't matter. We're going to get over it, okay? We're going to get over it. So, round up for chapter 3 and get over it, a troubled mind, family patterns. So you want to look at that. You want to go back if you need to and review chapter 1, how a mind works, and chapter 2, so that next week when we start doing our work, you'll be ready. Now, for the updates, okay? Let's do our updates, all right? Ladies, I'm meeting the men for Spirit of a Man next week, so you got to get ready for Wonder Woman coming up in April. April will be here before you can bat your little real eyelashes or flash ones, your false ones, whichever one you have. April is coming. So go to www.innervisionsworldwide.com so you can come and spend the Wonder Woman weekend with me. Listen, I'm really getting really excited about coming out to see you in March and April, or April and May, on my live tour, all right? My first solo tour in 18 years. Now, my stylist, Michelle, she's doing the clothes, and Leon Lacey, wonderful composer, he's doing some great music for us, and I'm putting together a powerful teaching for you, powerful teaching that we're going to work together in mass, all right? Imagine, in mass, we do this work, and then you can go out and share the work with everybody else, so you don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now because they are going in certain markets. You're going to be out of luck if you don't get your ticket. All right, go to www.iyanlavanzantlive.com so you can come to see me. All the cities that I'm going to, I'm only going to 14 now. I can't come everywhere. And no, I'm not coming to Brazil and South Africa and Europe and the Netherlands. I am not coming there. I can't do all of that, all right? But I am coming to 14 cities in the U.S. on my way home. I'm going home. I haven't spoke in Brooklyn in 18 years. Haven't spoke live in Brooklyn. So on my way home, I'm stopping at many cities along the way. Go to www.Iyanla Vanzant Live. Vanzant, hooked on phonics. Van, like man, Vanzant, and see if your city is in the list. And if not, get your girlfriends and your husband and your boyfriend and your boo. You can drive 2 hours to come see me, okay? We're going to do some good work on my way home, all right? Now, today is Tuesday, which means I've posted a brand new art spot, all right, on my YouTube channel. Go over there. Lots of good information about relationships. Every Tuesday, 2 o'clock, we post a new art spot at the Iyanla Vanzant YouTube channel. And if you subscribe, you'll get the notice every time a new posting goes up. This is our last posting because we only do the art spot when Fix My Life is not on. And now, Fix My Life, okay? It's premiering season 5 this Saturday. Season 5 is going to be juicy, all right? Let me tell you. All about the family. Every single show is about family and a family issue. That's coming up this Saturday, 9 p.m. on OWN. You want to be there. And we've added a special treat this year. After the show airs, if you go to my YouTube channel, we've added a segment we're calling Behind the Fix, where I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you what goes on before the show, sometimes during the show, not with the guests, but with me, with the team. So that Behind the Fix comes on after Fix My Life on my YouTube channel. So be sure, be ready Saturday. Now, roll call starts at 8:45 on Twitter. You got to go to Twitter at 8:45 so you can shout out your city. And please tell me what you're cooking. Okay, because I've decided that Fix My Life is the reason to do emotional eating. We got to eat emotionally while we're watching. And please have your tissues. And will somebody please tell Kleenex that we need some Fix My Life tissues? Of course, with my picture on the box. We need our own line of Fix My Life tissues. We can have aloe tissues and non-allergenic tissues, but we need some Fix My Life tissues because you got to have your tissues. Also have your notebook and your pen because lots of good information about family. We'll be on Saturday in the U.S. and Monday in Canada. All right, Fix My Life, season 5. And then as soon as the show is over, jump over to YouTube and you can see Behind the Fix. Good season. Listen, challenges in the family, breakdowns in the family, and we're doing a lot of social commentary. We're not digging into the issues, but we are doing commentary. We're looking at racism. We're looking at incest. We're looking at the foster care system. We're looking at colorism among women of color. We have everyday people and we have public people. We have Hazel E. Y'all tore her up on social media. You're getting ready to find out the core of that story. We have Memphis, I think that's his name, I don't know, Memphis or something like that. We have Trina Braxton and her husband Gabe, and Gabe has a last name and his last name is not Braxton, okay? So stop saying Trina and Gabe Braxton, that's not his last name. So be sure to tune in with your notebook. Then go over and see behind the scenes. Be sure to go to www.iyanlavanzant.com and get your tickets for the 14 cities that I'm coming to beginning in April. I think my first stop is Akron, Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio, something like that. Thank God it's April because it's going to be warm. And what else? Men, Spirit of a Man next week, okay? And then women, go to www.innovationsworldwide.com so you can sign up for Wonder Woman, which is coming in April, okay? Well, that's it for now. Get over it. Be sure you get your copy. Get over it. Thought Therapy for Healing the Hard Stuff. And we'll be right back here next Thought Therapy Tuesday to go through chapter 4, where I'm going to start teaching you the tools. I want you to know how to use the tools, all right? And remember, somebody loves you, baby. Yes, that's right. That is right. Miss Patti LaBelle is coming to Greenleaf on OWN this season, so you better buckle up, all right? And I'm going to see you Saturday, 9 p.m. on OWN. Have a blessed and beautiful day, and I really do love you. Bye-bye.